Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing? Welcome. It is Friday morning, 9 a.m. time for our coffee chat. So before anybody else comes on, I just want to speak to those who may be watching this on replay. This will be posted shortly after we finish this. It'll be posted on there. But I want to encourage you guys to join us for these when you can, or at least listen in. You're going to find some very valuable information. So today we're going to be talking about some of the things that we learned or that I learned during Tony Robbins UPW event last weekend. And so I'm going to be sharing some valuable tips on that to help us grow, to help us connect. And I think we're going to have a great time. So, as we are waiting, I also want to remind you that I have a Facebook group that will help you. And it's Facebook.com/Sean P. Fletcher 26. And on there, I post a lot of things about the 180-degree living community as well. So if you like, go ahead and join us on there, and we will continue to encourage each other and have a great time. So listen, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just get into what I want to talk about, even if nobody is on here right now. Well, hello, Tracy. How are you doing? And Inger, how are you doing? I thought I was going to
Good
be talking
morning.
this morning, which
Okay.
that's something I do all the time, anyways. Talk to myself. Welcome, Inger. I'm glad that you could be here as well. I see you're in your home office as well.
I
Yeah,
am. I am. Yeah.
getting it
Been up
done.
early.
Yeah. So Tracy's on here. I know that she's listening live, but she's working as well. So that's why she has her camera off. Um, and her and I had a conversation about this yesterday. But I went to the Tony Robbins event
Mhm.
last week. It's 4 days. 14 hours on Thursday, 13 hours on Friday, 12 hours on Saturday. And then Sunday, I was only able to be on there for about 6 hours. I don't know how long they went on Sunday, but it was a lot, and I got a lot of information on it. And I have been asked by a couple of different groups to share with you guys some of the things that I learned from it. One of the greatest things I learned from it was getting ready for our day, priming ourselves to get ready for our day. I don't know, can you hear the soft music in the background that I have on? Um,
No,
I have I have some meditation music in the background.
I
Just kind
can't hear.
Okay. So it helps me kinda, relax, get into a zone, take away some of the distractions. Plus, just before this call, I needed to calm down a little bit. I needed to get focused because a friend of mine from Atlanta called
Mhm.
about 20 minutes before this call, and I'm like, "Dude, I wanna have a conversation with you, but I'm on a mission. I got 20 minutes to get myself ready for this call." So I'm pacing around my office. I'm getting myself ready, right? I've done my breathing exercises. I've done some physical exercises. I've lifted my dumbbells. I'm pacing back and forth. I'm trying to get myself, like pumped up and energized, ready for this meeting. And my OCD kicked in. I saw something on the floor and I bent down to pick it up and I caught the top of my head
Oh,
right on
no.
the corner of the desk that's well, not you can't see it, but right behind me, and just bled like a stuck pig, right? And
Well, you're not
it
bleeding anymore.
it's not no, it's not. I've got it all down here, not bleeding anymore. But I finally just said, "John, dude, okay, I gotta get ready for this deal." And not that I don't care, not that I'm not compassionate. I'm on a time deal. And right now, your car problems aren't my problem. so so we got to get ready. So I had to take a few minutes and redo some of the breathing exercises and stuff that I do to get ready. And one of the things that I learned during this event was, um, and I talked to Tracy about this yesterday. So there's like 2 centimeters right here, right? The difference between sitting like this and like this, just that posture change, just that posture change puts you into a ready state. It puts you into a little more energy, a little more confidence, a little bit ready to go. And even my chiropractor was like, "Well, you've got bad posture." That's kind of the deal. And I just, yeah, okay, whatever. That's my posture. That's kind of the way I am. But it makes such a big difference. It actually feels the way that I'm sitting right now. It kind of feels like I'm sticking my butt out the back of my chair. So
That's right.
yeah. So, and even in my stretching exercises, fairly limber. I can bend over and touch the ground, and but changing your posture, and it feels like you're sticking your butt out, and then bending over so your back is straight instead of hump. Boy, that makes a big difference too. So there's all kinds little running in place, and it's really taken me out of my comfort zone because I'm just not that guy. I don't get super excited about things. Um, I'm calm in all situations. Like I'm that guy that if a wrecking ball is coming at us, I would look at it and go, "That's a wrecking ball," and I would just kind of move and like, "That was a wrecking ball." Yeah, I mean that's just kind of who I am. I don't get super excited. I maintain my calm in all kinds of different situations. And I've learned to do that because when I worked as a professional chef, I was the opposite of that. I was like the Gordon Ramsay, yelling and screaming and getting things done. And one day I just changed. I just changed and just like, you know what? These people are only in my life for an hour. Why am I letting them control my anger issues? So that helped. Tracy, good to see your smile. I thought
Hey,
you'd
good
be
morning, guys.
I thought
I
you'd
am.
okay. So if you gotta cut off, I understand.
Yeah, no worries. I wish I was that person you're talking about. I'm the complete opposite. So,
Yes. So one of the exercises that we learn to do that speaks to me because, you guys know that I'm also a pastor. I work with people with spiritual growth. I do a lot of discipleship and training and stuff. So you would think I would know better, but I have a tendency to get up in the morning. I come into my office. I drink my electrolytes. I have a creatine product that I use to get my body ready for stress and things like that. I take my pills, then I make my coffee, and then I walk around. I sit at my desk and I just get at it, right? And I go, oh, I forgotten, one of the things that I teach myself is is getting yourself prayerfully ready for your day, right? Not just mentally ready for your day, not just physically ready for you, but prayerfully ready for your day. And so they were doing this exercise. Now, I know Tony doesn't want to offend anybody. He's like, I don't want to tell anybody what to believe and stuff like that. But he says, this is my belief. So he includes a lot of different things in it. So they're talking about imagining this light, uh, bright white, yellow, gold, whatever it might be. But you're imagining that being like the universe or God or whatever it is that it is for you, and imagining that kind of above you and then working in through you. Now for me as a Christian man, that it's always white because I believe in the light of Christ, and I don't imagine it as just a light. I imagine it as a pure energy and the spirit of God. And I invite him into my life. I invite him into my day. And I ask him to give me the strength and the courage and the mindset and all the things. Don't need to go into all the things that I do, but I do that. And I let it work all the way through me. And then I just kind of put it out there. Pray for my wife and my kids and my grandkids and the people that I'm gonna come across today. And so that puts me into a spiritual state of readiness. So I've gotten my body needs taken care of. I've got my physical needs taken care of. Then I get my spiritual needs taken care of so that when I start the work, I am laser focused in what it is I need to be doing and what it is I want to accomplish. And so that's now he calls it state, getting into a proper state. That's his terminology. I call it alignment. I want to get my body, my mind, and my spirit in alignment together. Because if any one of those things are off, if any one of those things are off, it's like having a flat tire. You might be going forward, but you're not making the best progress. And it's going to be a little slow, right? And you can get off course. And so getting my body and my mind and my spirit in alignment, it helps the ship go in the direction that it's supposed to be going. Because if you're just even a degree off, uh, chaos happens. Now, years ago, I read a book. I've got it around here somewhere. I've got bunches of copies of it in my office at the church. But there's a lady that's from up here. You guys know that I'm in the Seattle area, and so, or we call it South Vancouver, Canada. So South, yeah, Southern Vancouver. I mean, she's writing this book, and her husband, they're from here, the Seattle Tacoma area. They like to take cruises on their boat. They got a big boat, and so they're going to go to Vancouver Island. And one day they're going to Vancouver Island, and they make this comment. They said, they see the Victoria Clipper. Now, the Victoria Clipper is a not a party, well, kind of a party boat, cruise ship, ferry, whatever it is, from here to Vancouver Island. It makes that trip a couple of times a day. My ex sister in law used to work on that ship. I mean, that's just what they do every day. So they look at this ship, and somebody says, the Clipper's going the wrong direction. And then they think about it for a little bit, and they're, well, wait a minute. If they make that trip every day, this is what they do. Maybe we're going in the wrong direction. So they check the compass, and sure enough, they're like a degree off. But a degree off going out of Seattle, going through the locks, or going up the straight a little bit isn't that big of a deal. But a degree off between here and Vancouver Island, you will miss the island. You will not be there. And so it's important to be in alignment, have everything pointed true north before you get started. So one of the other things that I wanted to share with you guys this morning, and you guys can input on this, but day 3 was on transformation day. And I love conversations about transformation. Right. And the key points is that if you want ongoing results, you have to build daily practices. That's something we as a community talk about all the time. How you talk makes a difference. Right? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. What you say, the power of life and death are held in the tongue, all the different things. So what you say about yourself and to yourself is really important. In fact, the conversation I was having earlier with my friend, and he was talking about maybe canceling a trip and doing some other things. I said, let me ask you a question. When you're hearing these things, when you're talking to yourself, do you hear things like, I need to do this, or I need to change that, or I should do this instead of that? Or are you hearing a voice that says, you shouldn't go? You need to be making money. You need to be working. You can't take this time off. And it's important to listen to the differences, because you need to is an accusatory statement. And who's the accuser of the brethren? The enemy. I said, so who's telling you you shouldn't go? Is it you, or is it the enemy? And who do you think doesn't want you to go on this prayer retreat, on this prayer hike, and spend time with one of your pastors? Who is it that thinks that I don't want you to go? Right. So we kind of talked through it. He's going to go. He's going to have a great time. And that's really awesome. The other thing is to envision the possibilities. One of the things that holds us back so much in life is fear. And we can envision all of the bad things that might happen. Well, what if this goes wrong, and what if that goes wrong, and if this happens and that happens, and we snowball down a negative trail? What we envision should be, well, what if it works? What if this actually works? What if I can now, Inger, you're in the health business as well, and we all kind of have side hustles that we do and stuff. You have to ask yourself, well, what if this does work? What if I am able to make a powerful impact in other people's lives? What if I can build a residual income that can transform my life or replace my job? Now, it'll never replace my job because I love what I do and I do it for free. Hard to replace that, right? But if it creates an income that brings my wife home, what would life look like then, right? Or if I truly can help people lose significant amount of weight so that they can function better, or if I can help them change their mindset so they're more positive and they have more energy and focus and all this stuff. And what if I can help people develop spiritual principles that will stick with them for the rest of their life? What if, right? And that becomes a driving force. And then, besides just talking about it or envisioning it, that we have to plan it. There's an old saying that says if you're not planning to succeed, you're planning to fail, whether you realize it or not. And another one is you plan your work and work your plan. Plan your work and work. That was an old multi-level marketing company um, back from the '80s that I heard that in, and it stuck. It stuck in my head. And the other one is to schedule it. Now, everybody has phones now. They do everything on phones. This is how I do mine. At the beginning of every week, I sit down and I write out what my non-negotiables are. These are my non-negotiables for these days. Everything else has to be planned around that. Because otherwise all the squirrels in the world come in and they try to get you off track, and you have to say, no, I can't do that right now. When my wife wants something from me, I have to look at the calendar. I can't do that right now. I'm committed to this, or I'm committed to these people. Um, we just had this conversation a little bit ago. She goes, well, I thought your thing was at 9:30. I said, no, it's at 9 o'clock. So we can have a 2-minute conversation, and I got to go. Right. And we'll talk again later. Right. So scheduling is super important. And then there's a Warren Buffett uh, quote that came up, and I've heard it before, but I was reminded of it. But he says, investing in yourself is the most powerful investment you can make. It's the most important, because listen, it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're miserable, you can be rich and miserable. You can be poor and miserable. But you can also be poor and absolutely on fire for life and happy and have eternal joy. It's better to have all that stuff and be wealthy. I'm just going to tell you. I've had nothing and I've had a lot, and a lot is much better than nothing. I'll tell you that for sure. Um, Something they brought up is progress equals happiness. Now, notice it doesn't say completion equals happiness or achieving reaching your ultimate goal. It's the progress. Now, I do a lot of marriage counseling, and we talk about kind of what some of the downfalls of relationships are when you get married. You're excited and you have goals and you're looking forward to life, and you're going to have kids, and you have the kids, and now your goal, your dream is to get them raised up and out of high school and into college if that's what you want for them. And then that happens. Well, even in the middle of that, then you buy a house, and that's your goal. That's your dream, right? And then after the kids are gone, after the house is taken care of, if you don't have something that you can progress toward together, things start to fall apart. So I'm always I said, just continue. My wife and I, every year, beginning of the year, we talk about our goals, what we want to accomplish. We give thanks for the things that have been accomplished. We look forward to the things that we want to accomplish, and maybe she doesn't, but I write it all down. This is what I want. This is what we're going to go toward this year. These are the dreams and goals that we have, and because of that, I'm really excited to say that we have increased our business every year for 28 years. We've never had a slide back down. We've had an increase 10 to 15% every single year. And over 28 years, that's a lot. That's a lot. So, uh, one of the things that he also talked about was full immersion. But before I get to that, this is a statement that was important. It's what you do in the dark that puts you in the light. What you do in the dark. In other words, the habits that you build in your personal life when nobody's looking, that's what puts you in the light. That's what people, unfortunately, when you get successful, they look at you and say, "Oh, you're so lucky." Like luck had nothing to do with it. That is 28 years of grinding, right? You're just seeing it now. It's surfacing now. It's the things that which has been hidden has now been made known, and so you're just now experiencing it. But it took a lot of grind in the dark to make it happen. So, full immersion, the power of the training process. And this is where a lot of people get uh, discouraged. This is where a lot of people quit, but it's the reason why we shouldn't quit. So, we all know what I would say the internet. There's a word I'm looking for, stock market. Okay, so we've seen the stock market, right? And it goes up and down and up and down and up and down, right? But if you notice in the progress, you go to the top and then you go down, but then you go back up again. So your down is never further down than where you started. It's always in a forward motion. So if you don't quit, if you don't give up, you're going to continue going up and up and up, even though you have down moments. But it's in those down moments that people panic, they quit. In the investment world, they sell everything. Oh, I've lost, my goodness, I can't tell you how much money I lost in Bitcoin because I bought it at over 10,000. I don't know what it is today. It's in the eights. But I could just panic and sell it all, or I could just wait, just leave it alone, just it'll rise back up. I got faith in that. In our spiritual life, we have a down moment. We didn't get what we wanted. Something bad happened. You say, "See, I told you this doesn't work." I hear that all the time, right? And I said, "Well, you haven't been doing this long enough. You got to stick to it." So, talked about finding a coach, and we talked about the priming time, which I talked to you guys about a little bit earlier. And this is an interesting quote as well. Most people have a highway to stress, but a dirt road to happiness. There's a path that is easy, and there's a path that is narrow. The path that is easy is just grind it out, keep busy, keep moving, keep achieving, keep doing that, and we're creating this stress on us because we're out of balance. We're going in our triad. We're going in one direction without making sure that everything is in alignment, and we're creating just tons of stress. Have you ever had a time in your life where everything just feels tight every single day? It's like, when is this ever going to end? Well, we're creating stress because we're not in alignment. we're not taking the time to get in alignment with our body, our mind, and our soul. Now, that's my triad: the body, the mind, and the soul. And so that's what I talk about quite a bit. So, um, look, there's tons of stuff, tons and tons of stuff that we could be talking about, but those are just a couple of key points that we talked about. And I may talk about some added things as we go along, but tell me what you're working on to make sure that you're in alignment. Are you working on your body? Are you working on your mind? Are you working on your spirit? Or are you working on all three? Now, before you say anything, be honest. I will wait.
So right
Well,
now I'm, oh, go
you
ahead.
go ahead. Tracy.
Go ahead, Trace.
Okay. Right now I'm working on my spirit and learning how to surrender issues and different things to the Lord instead of trying to control everything. And that's definitely been a journey for me. But, other things in life have been neglected. It's always this kind of, okay, now I'm working on my body. Now I've got to work on my spiritual. So I'm not there yet, but it's definitely a work in progress.
Yeah, it can be. Well, you'll hear me say this a lot over the years and stuff, but I'll say, well, congratulations, you're normal, because we all go through that, right? And especially as entrepreneurs, business owners, CEOs, anybody in leadership, guess what? We all have control issues. It's part of our DNA. I mean, we want to walk in like, dun, da, 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 I'll take care of it. I got it. Pick me. We got this. And, we're leaders. That's what we do. Right. So it can be difficult to realize, hey, guess what? I may be the leader of this group, but I have a leader that I follow. And I have to submit to that leadership every single day. Because if I ignore that and I just say, I'm the leader, I'm the guy, I'm the woman, I'm the whatever, pretty soon you start straying off true north. And that's when selfishness takes over, greed, arrogance, pride, all those things start taking over. So that's why it's really important to, at least for me, I can only speak for me, is that I have to, first thing in the morning, I need to make sure that my alignment with him is rock solid. Now you guys can't see it because I've got this background on there, but I've got the scripture laid out on my desk every single morning. And I do it for a couple of reasons. I refer to it a lot, but it's also a visual for me. It's a visual that's your priority. Aligning with him is your priority. It's not my property management business. It's not my Beniv business. It's not my coaching and counseling. And that's not the priority. All of that flows from my spiritual connection. It flows from that, right? And where your focus what does it say? Where your focus goes, I forget what it says. Help me out.
Something about
Where
where
your
your mind
where
goes, your body follows, or something.
yeah, where your focus goes, your energy flows. I think that's what it is. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And um, so that becomes a priority. And then in my weight loss journey, honestly, I just took it for granted for a long time because I'm servant oriented. So I was like, I'm not really concerned about me. I'm not really concerned about my health. I'm not really concerned about this. I'm going to pour everything I've got into everybody else. And the problem is as I neglected myself and I literally got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, uh, I no longer had the energy to do the things that my heart wanted to do. My body couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. And so that's what started my journey on there. In fact, when I met a mentor of mine and Tracy's, when I met him, I had just started my own journey and I kind of plateaued and we got into a conversation about our grandkids. Right now, speaking about one of my, well, in fact, my very first grandson, talking about him, I said, "Man, I just can't keep up." And even the young ones, I can't keep up. And one of my grandkids said to me one day, I'm laying on the floor, I'm trying to play with him, and he pats me on the belly and he says, "Grandpa, why do you have such a big belly?" Now, that hurt. It hurt deeply. But what I said to him was, "Oh, it's for you to play on." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And just climbed all over me. Right. But man, that stung. It's like, okay, now I need to start doing something about it. And as I went down in my weight and gained my energy back, I found that I was able to do more, had more capacity, and then that just snowballed into everything else. I mean, moving fast forward a couple years, that gave me the energy to write the 7 books that I've written. That gave me the energy to do this, to do some of the other things that we're doing, the energy to be more effective in helping my wife with our other business. All of the things took place because I had the energy to do it. Right. So I got the energy part taken care of, the body part and the energy part, and really dialing into the mindset part of deal. Now I've been doing mindset since the early 80s when I first ever heard of Tony Robbins. I had the privilege, the honor of being a motivational speaker in the sales industry for a period of time. Now I got out of it because my outside life didn't match my professional life, and I was going through a divorce and going through a bunch of stuff, and so I quit doing it for many many years. But that idea of mindset and training your mind to think about your objectives um, has been part of my life for, gosh, what's that been? Over 40 years now. 40 years I've been doing that. And then the spiritual side of my life didn't really take effect until the early 90s. But since the early 90s, I've just been on a trajectory. So now, not that I've accomplished all of it. Now that I know that I'm in alignment with my body and my mind and my spirit, life gets easier. The stress is less, right? So anyway, uh, that's really what I've got for you guys today. Anger, you got any input? What's going on with you? Where you need help? What you're doing well?
Well, I am on a spiritual journey myself. My whole weight loss journey, as you know, started many, many years ago. I was very heavy, and I was a mom, a single mom of a boy, and my son was 5 years old, and said to me, "Mommy, I love you because you're fluffy." Now that you can't get mad at a kid for saying you're fat, but he said it was fluffy, so I was like good with it. But then he had a dream one night that I died on the couch, and I thought that that was God sending me a message saying, "Hey, you got this little one here. It's time for you to get focused and let's take care of this weight issue that you got going on with it." It's funny how you run around and you just really don't pay attention. You don't realize. I didn't realize how big I was. I knew I was fat, but I didn't realize how big. Even though I was in almost like 32, you understand? And so getting on that journey was like, okay, that's the reality check I needed. Let's get off of all of this. And that's what started that process for me. What helps me maintain it is I guess you're right about the mindset because I have been in a lot of different communities. I've always had faith in my God. I know that no matter what happens, He has seen me through things that nobody else, no human person on this earth has seen me do. Things that I thought, oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this. Um, Calling myself helping other people by destroying the things that I've set up for myself. And it's like, okay, well, you said you wouldn't put more on me than I can handle. I must can handle a lot because boy, this seems tough right now. But I told my son as he's grown up, one thing I never will argue with people about is religion, taxes, and political views. Because you know what? That's yours. It's yours to own. How you believe in God and what you believe in is yours. That doesn't mean that I don't have my own opinion about it. I have a friend who doesn't believe in God. She believes in crystals. Okay. But hopefully those crystals help you. I said, but you know, I have a power of prayer. When she was going through cancer, I prayed for her. My grandmother told us when we were young, I pray for you every day. And I think people that pray for other people, there's power there. Whether you believe in Jesus Christ himself or not, or you believe a crystal is what's doing it, I think the power of prayer from others is just as powerful as if I were praying just for myself and for the people around me. So I pray for my son, I pray for myself, and I pray for wisdom. And I've learned over the years, sometimes it's best to be silent and figure out why you feel a certain way about something. Why did that hit me? Why did that land so negatively to me? Was it intentional? Is it something I should be aware of? I think God gives us a special sense of, hey, listen, don't take this path. Take this one. Faith is not what you can see. It's what you can't see. It's not what you can prove. It's what I think the best lesson I've ever learned was this about faith and how to understand what it meant and how to express it to somebody else. Walking down a path you can see is not faith. Faith is walking down a dark path. You never know if I'm going to fall off the end of this earth. Am I going to smash into something? That's what faith is. And you don't have to have the size of anything other than a mustard seed, just a little bit. If you can believe a little bit, no matter what challenges fall in front of you, and you believe that he's going to help you take care of it, he will. I surrender myself to him every day, all day, not just in the mornings, but all day, because all day I have challenges. People
Yes.
driving, get in front of me, acting crazy, slamming on the brakes. I want to say crazy. I say crazy things inside of myself. This is the reason why I didn't get in this wreck because you made me stop. You know, and that's a change in mindset. That's a change in belief. And I was recently on a trip, and I was coming back from Cancun, and they don't have the TSA like we have here. So I was randomly selected to get all my bags strip searched in front of everybody in the free world. And it made me feel a certain kind of way about it. I thought they were very disrespectful in how they handled my belongings. I thought she was being rude and disrespectful to me as a person. And being a woman of color and in this line of people of not color made it even worse. The way she looked at me was not of respect. And I had a feeling of that. And she started just kind of shoving my stuff back in there. And I told her, listen, I understand you have to do this, but I'm gonna have to tell you that you're not being respectful. And I'm gonna need you to quit shoving my stuff into my bags. There's a reason I packed them the way I did. Whether she wanted to know that or not, I didn't really give a flying hoot. You're gonna listen because you are making me feel a certain kind of way. And I don't like what you're doing. You're not being respectful. So some guy comes up there and says to me, well, she is doing her job. And I said, I understand she's doing her job. But I want you to understand that I'm being respectful and I expect you to be the same. Don't throw my stuff. Don't move it around like that. And don't shove it into the boxes. If you want to inspect it, inspect it. I will repack it the way I had it because that's the only way it's going to get in there. And people don't show signs of respect. Even what's this about their elders? They don't care. These young pups are talking to people just any kind of way. I'm not afraid of you because you're law enforcement here or anywhere else, but I will not tolerate disrespect. I don't care who you are. I'm not disrespecting you. I expect respect when you speaking to me, as well as I'm giving it to you. You know, and when it was all said and done, I had to get on the plane, and I sat there and I thought to myself, was that more? Why did I feel that way? Because I think we have these intuitions and we have these things that God gives us to let us know, okay, this isn't right. This isn't the way it should be. And there's no wrong reason for me to speak out and say, hey, listen, I demand respect. Even if you're going through my things, these are my things. These are not your things. And they're not important. It's not about the things. It's about how you make somebody feel when you're dealing with them. I deal with this on a daily basis when patients come in and their families and they're sick. And I tell my nurses, listen, they're angry, they're afraid, they're hurting, they're scared. You can't take this personal. This isn't about you. You need to make this about them and their families and what they've experienced in the past. Because that is where you can step in and make a little bit of difference to somebody who is getting ready to go through a surgery that they could not wake up from. This could be their last day on earth, and they don't need you to make it about you. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's not only a spiritual journey, but it's a mental change as well. Because I wasn't always like that. I was very direct and to the point and didn't, want to hear all that blah blah blah, whatever. You know, as I get
Well,
older, how important that is.
being a leader does not give us the right to be disrespect, or being an authority. I should say that being an authority does not give you the right to be disrespectful. Part
Absolutely.
of being a leader is to lead, not push,
Right.
right? And
Mhm.
in a situation like you're in, they're kind of pushing you. They're pushing their agenda. They're pushing their. So there's a thing called the shoestring effect, shoestring leadership. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I would take a shoestring and I put it out in front of my staff. I say, okay, I want you to pull the shoe. I want you to pull the shoestring, and grab it by the little end and just pull it with you and see what happens. So they do that. I said, now the shoestring went everywhere you went, didn't it? I said, yes. Okay, so now I want you to lay it back on the table again. I want you to take it by the same uh, end. Now I want you to push it and see what happens. Well, it just curls up and it bunches up and it doesn't really go anywhere until you get to the point where you're now pulling it again. Right. So people are the same way. If you try and push them, they will instinctively push back.
Mhm.
But if you lead them and you say, follow me, or you come alongside them and say, let me walk this out with you, you can accomplish great things. If you're a leader and you're leading in love and you're leading in kindness, you're leading in truth, you're leading in all these ways instead of trying to push your own agenda. I was having a conversation earlier today before I started getting ready for my day, and the kind of subject came up. I was on the phone. My sister-in-law was on the phone, so we're on the phone. My sister-in-law, and they were talking about an interaction that wasn't going well. And so the challenge is we shouldn't treat people like they're customers, and we shouldn't treat people like they're clients. We should treat everybody like they're a friend or a potential friend or a family member or potential family member. We share with them because we love them and we want to engage with them. That we want them to be part of our community. We don't want them just to uh, buy from us or give to us or somehow positively influence us. That's the wrong model. The right model is to figure out, how can I influence you? How can I make your life better? How can I serve you? And so you've done a great job in the nursing deal. This is like, I'm Nurse Ratchet, or you're gonna do what I say, right?
It doesn't
Uh,
work.
it doesn't work, and to understand, because when you push them, they're going to push back, and you have to realize that they are in a hurting state. They have a deep need for comfort, especially in the hospital. I do a lot of hospital visits. They have a deep need for comfort. And sometimes the best comfort you can give them, uh, just shut up and be there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Just
addressing
be
things
there.
I think
Yeah.
that is the other thing. And the other piece of that though is you have to identify your own feelings about grief, grieving, dying, your own fears that you have, because I think we sometimes display that onto others in the way we respond to someone who's actually going through it.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that I get to display the fact that I have zero fear of dying. I've got none, right? For me, unless it's a tragic event, walking across the street, got hit by a bus, um, it's part of the deal. Every one of us dies without exception, and for those of us who believe, we know that it's actually just the beginning, right? It's a transition point. It's a transformation point. So I get to share that with people, and it's a great joy to be there. I'm doing a memorial service tomorrow. Well, I'm not. I'm doing a celebration of life. I told the family I don't do memorial services, I don't do funerals, but I do celebrations of life, right? We're going to make this a positive. There's going to be some grief in there, but we're going to do this in a positive light. And it is a thrill. It is a privilege to be able to bring that to people and to say, okay, I know this is tough. I know we're going to miss them, but understand um, what has happened, what's going on right now with them, with their spirit, with their existence, and it puts a different light on it, and hopefully, and it's a joy, it's fun, right? If anybody can make um, to make that kind of event fun and joyful, now you've accomplished something. And so I'm looking. That's kind of the rest of my day is preparation for that event tomorrow. So
Mhm.
that's good. Well, ladies, I appreciate you guys spending the time with us. We've been here about 50 minutes, about 49 minutes. But I look forward to having future conversations with you. I thought this was a good subject, talking about the event was called Unleashing the Power Within.
Mhm.
To understand that we already have the power within, it's already there. We just have to access it. And again, going back to the spiritual side, understanding that we are created in the image of God, it's already in us. Like it's like he's not gone. We just have to access the power that we already have. We were created for certain things, and we were not created to be mediocre. We were not created to live a life that is just nothing but struggle. If the life is a struggle, we have it within us to be able to go through it with a joyful heart, even in the midst of the struggle. I used to share this with people. There's a scripture that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And it is widely misused because look, I'm a 5'11" white guy that can't jump. I am not going to be an NBA superstar, right? So that's something I can't do. But what it is saying, and I was in a conversation with my stepfather about this one time. I said, "Look, It doesn't mean I can climb Mount Everest in my bare feet because I will die.
Who climbed
However,
Mount Everest didn't finish you doing
yeah,
nothing else. Period.
yeah. I said, but however, if I was forced to do it, I could still do it with contentment. I can still do it knowing that what it lies ahead of me is greater than what is behind me. So I can do it because of my spirit is right, my mind is right, regardless of what I have to go through. I can do all things. I can endure all things. Doesn't mean I can actually do all things, but I can endure all things. So anyhow, I know Tracy, I know you've got a busy work day ahead of you. Inger, I imagine you have a busy work day ahead of
Now that's
you.
what co-pilots do right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, blessings on you. Get take a few minutes before you start. Prime yourself for the energy level that you need. Ask for the wisdom and direction that you need. Get your body in a perfect state, your mind in a perfect state, and then go conquer the world. All
Yeah.
right. You guys have a great day. Good talking to you.